Hari Om. Namaskar. The last week we concluded the first topic of the 15th chapter. The topic Brahman is the macrocosm. The macrocosm means it is the world at large. What is the nature of the macrocosm? He said the macrocosm is perishable in nature. Everything in the world out there is perishable. Kshara. Now, what have we been advised is the macrocosmic world. He compared it to be the Ashwatha tree, the famous fig tree. He said that Ashwatha tree must be felled. The tree symbolizes your attachment and the roots which go deep into the soil. They hold the tree firm. Similarly, our attachments are so deeply rooted in the world that we are strongly bound with anything and everything that we associate with. So the Shastras, in particular the 15th chapter, specifically the 3rd verse, clearly says that you must cut off the strong attachment with an axe of detachment. You must cultivate this detachment and use that strong axe to not get bound to anything. And in the last section, which is the 5th and the 6th verse in particular, in the 6th verse in particular, giving a quick recap, where he said, Natad bhasayate surya na shashanko na pavakaha. That glory of the Brahman, that glory of the consciousness, it is so glorious that even the sun can't illumine it, the moon can't illumine it, the fire can't illumine it. The direct light, the indirect light, or the artificial light, none of them can illumine the consciousness of Brahman. In fact, it is the contrary. The entire macrocosm, the entire world lights up because of the consciousness, because of Brahman. So the sun lights because of the Brahman. The sun can't illumine Brahman. So the entire macrocosm is supported by Brahman. Everything in the world is supported by the consciousness. It's like the entire dream that you're experiencing is supported by the waker's mind. It is you, the waker, that has projected the dream. Everything in the dream is nothing but the waker's mind. But when you are dreaming, do you know that it is the waker's mind that has projected the dream? As long as you are in the limitation of the confinement of the experiences of the dream, you will not be able to get to understand who is the source of this projection, or who is it that is behind this. But at least as a waker, you and I have the possibility to try and understand that there is a substratum. The substratum is Brahman. Now, I know one or two of you are joining in for the first time. I think Sunil Ji is joining in for the first time. Most welcome, sir. But please be patient. I know not of your exposure to philosophy, the background. Even you may be exposed, you may not be familiar with the style, the methodology, the concepts. But feel free. You're more than welcome to clarify what's unique. I did tell, I think it's your wife who came in yesterday. I did tell her that this is a unique opportunity to have a dialogue with the Guru. It's not a one-way, rather a two-way traffic. So anything that concerns you that doesn't make sense, feel free, raise your hand. You will be given a chance to clarify. Now, before I move into the next topic, it's important that we understand um, this basic concept. The basic concept which you must have in the back of your mind. Most of you will be aware, but it would help those who are not familiar. When we are talking of the consciousness, you can call it the reality, you can call it, in a layman's term, you can call it God. Just now I said consciousness is a substratum. But when this consciousness, when it manifests in the macrocosm, which is the world, it is called Brahman. It is termed Brahman. So the terminology, when consciousness is expressing to the macrocosm, it is called Brahman. It is just a term. Consciousness is the same. But the same consciousness, when it expresses to the microcosm, which is the individual, when it expresses to the living beings, it is termed Atman, or the self. There is no difference between the Atman and Brahman. Atman and Brahman, or for that matter, consciousness, is indivisible. You can't divide it. None of it can split or break the Atman into small or the large, or the small, which is the Atman, and the Brahman, which is the large. So there is no divisibility in the consciousness. So just keep in mind, with reference to the first topic, we said we call it as Brahman. Now the next topic, which is verses 7 to 11, where he talks of Brahman, which is the microcosm, we may use the term Atman. So just to make sure that you don't get confused, Brahman and Atman are the same, is only with reference to what context. Okay, now we'll take up the 7th verse. Mamaivaamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha mana shashthani prakritisthani karshati. Mamaivaamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha mana shashthani prakritisthani karshati. Amshah, mama eva amshah, a portion of my sanatanam, which is the eternal self, a portion of my eternal self, having become a being in the living world, which is you and me, abiding in Prakriti, which is nothing but matter, draws the senses with mind as the sixth. You will find a lot of flavor of an Upanishadic language in this chapter. So you must bear with the language, but rest assured I'll decode everything that is being mentioned here. A portion of my eternal self. Thanks, Ma. A portion. As I just stated, the big chunk is the consciousness. A portion of the consciousness, when it manifests, how does it manifest? When it manifests in a being, in a living being, what happens is saying, so the consciousness, it was expressing in the macrocosm. Now from the macrocosm, he's come down to the microcosm. So that which supports the world is same thing supports the individual. Just like the sun. The sun Even it is staggering to see what is the size of the sun compared to the size of the earth. The size of the sun is multifold times larger than the earth. Its rays are all pervading. If that sun and its rays are all pervading, take one ray of the sun. It is difficult, but you have to take it. Please cooperate with me intellectually. The sun and its rays are all pervading. That is the magnitude, the vastness of the sun, which is the Brahman, which is the consciousness. One ray of the sun, when it expresses, what happens? Imagine that ray of the sun is reflecting in a dewdrop. The sun is all pervading. Wherever there is a reflecting medium, there is a reflected sun, right? Step by step. Wherever there's a reflective medium, there's a reflected sun because sunlight is all pervading. It's a matter wherever there's a reflecting medium. That's the macrocosm. But take a small dewdrop, and that very sun, which is all pervading, also reflects in that dewdrop. That metamorphically is a portion of my eternal self. That's what it means. A single ray of the sun is equivalent to a portion of the self. Now, eternal self. Eternal means what? It has been going on and on and on for a long, long time. You don't know when it started. Don't waste your time trying to ask when it started. Impossible to understand that. So innumerable rays have emerged from the sun. Does it make the sun any less? It doesn't make the sun any less. So many manifestations, so many reflections are born from the sun. Does it make the sun any less? Doesn't make the sun any less. Similarly, so many reflections of the Brahman, so many reflections of the Atman are manifesting in each individual. It doesn't make the Atman or consciousness any less. Just because the sun is emitting so many rays, the sun doesn't get, oh, by the end of the day, oh, it's exhausted. The sun becomes a little dull. The sun becomes dull for us because it has gone to the other hemisphere. Otherwise, it is bright and it is luminous. The sun doesn't become any weak because it is shed its light throughout the day. Even in the peak summer, it will not lose its luminosity and strength. So Brahman is enlivening everything, but Brahman does not become any less. It is just a small speck of it. And what is that small speck doing? It is giving life to you and me. So Brahman or the consciousness is a substratum of the individual as well. So he says, abiding, it is a substratum. It is behind everything that I do. Abiding in Prakriti. Now, what does the word Prakriti means? Prakriti means, what does the word Prakriti mean? Abiding in Prakriti, it becomes the senses and the mind. The mind is the sixth, the five senses. So abiding in Prakriti. So what does the word Prakriti mean here? SR? You were wondering. I wish he asked a simpler question, he will be saying, thinking.
Prakriti in a conventional manner, Guruji, we consider as a nature, or we consider as a
I
person.
am not conventional guru. I'm unconventional guru. So I'll not ask conventional questions. So don't put me in a bracket and say I am out of the ordinary.
Prakriti, can I consider it as a Purusha?
Correct? How can Prakriti be Purusha? Purusha is the Atman. Purusha is the consciousness. That's another term for Brahman. When that Purusha manifests through Prakriti, there is life. So the concept is very familiar to us.
Yeah.
The equation is familiar. If I were to spell out the equation, you say, oh, I know this equation. But the word Prakriti, what does it mean? Prakriti means vasanas.
Okay.
Prakriti means matter.
Matter.
Matter is vasanas. So let me put it in the equation, then you will perhaps be able to understand what I'm saying. See, it's very easy to talk, it's very easy to lecture and go on, but it's very difficult to teach this knowledge. Teaching is a extremely different skill altogether. Now, since you used Purusha, I'm using the word Purusha also. Purusha plus Prakriti equals life. Atman plus Vasanas equals living being. You can also say self plus matter equals life. All of this are correct. So there is expression of life, there is a birth of living being, not because of Purusha, but because of Purusha plus Prakriti. Life is when Purusha or Atman or self identifies with matter. Just like sunlight is everywhere. Just because sunlight is everywhere, are there reflections everywhere? Reflections are there only where there's a reflecting medium. So, SR, the Atman in me, the Atman in you, the Atman in all of us is the same. But what makes it you are born because of? How do you equate yourself here?
Because of the vasanas.
Atman plus the vasanas equals SR, isn't it?
Yes.
Is your individuality, isn't it?
So Atman can be a common ground. The vasanas is the varies person to person.
Atman is the same in all of us. Atman is a substratum. But what differentiates you, what differentiates me, what differentiates all of us is the Prakriti, the matter we are constituted of. You get it?
Yes, got it, Guruji.
So when you try and understand this, Atman, because it's identifying with matter, or when it identifies with matter, it brings about life. And how does he say it? It manifests as five senses and the mind. Mind is the sixth. So the all-pervading Brahman, which has no form, which is imperishable in nature, almost becomes the limited individual, which is perishable in nature. So I repeat the sentence. So the all-pervading consciousness, which is imperishable in nature, because of its identification with matter, Prakriti, becomes the individual, which is perishable in nature. There's nothing to get confused. There's no need to get confused. He is only putting it poetically, and I am trying to go with the go in line with the text. In fact, when we come to the 9th verse, it becomes very clear. So just be patient. He just started the concept of how Brahman manifests through the individual. I'll give an example. A standard example we give here, what is the definition of light? What will be the definition of light? There is light in the room where you're sitting. Hina, what will be the definition of the light? The bulb that is glowing in your living room where you're seated. What will be the definition? How does light come?
It's from the energy of the sun and electricity.
Where is the sun involved in glowing your bulb?
It was from the electricity.
Electricity. Okay. So electricity is that which gives energy to the bulb, right? So the equation is electricity plus bulb equals light. Isn't it? What is the wattage in your bulb? What wattage is it?
I think 200 something, 220, Guruji.
Okay. In Hong Kong, it will be 220. You're in Hong Kong only right now?
Yeah, correct.
Hong Kong, it is 220 watts. Where I am seated, I've got a big, projected light above my table, which if I sit longer, I might become a Negro. So powerful lights because I should not. They said I should be bright enough for the transmission. So the light in my room is little brighter than your room. Some person will have warm white, and some will have cool light, some will have different lights. All of this, what do you attribute it to, Hina? Would you attribute it to the electricity or the characteristics of the bulb? The different lights.
It's the characteristics of the bulb.
Thank God. I was worried we were thinking so long that you will say it's the electricity. Please, electricity in Hong Kong, electricity in India is the same. Please don't worry. It's the same electricity. Now, it is the characteristics of the bulb that brings about the difference in the expression, which is the light, isn't it? So what is common is electricity. The bulbs are varying. Now you go back to the equation what you wrote. Purusha plus Prakriti equals life. Atman plus matter equals living beings. So where would you put electricity? Electricity is the Purusha. It's a life-giving force, which is the same in all of us. The matter is the characteristics of the bulb. But interestingly, there is no light inherent in electricity. There is no light inherent in the bulb. But when electricity and bulb come in contact, there is a scintillating expression of light, isn't it? Exactly the same way. There is no life inherent in the consciousness. Please understand this. There is no life inherent in consciousness. There is no life inherent in matter, in Prakriti. But when consciousness contacts matter, there is life. There is no light inherent in the bulb. There is no light inherent in electricity. But when they both come together, there is light. Similarly, there is no life inherent. If you take Brahman by itself, it has no life. If you take matter, there's no life. But when matter contacts the Atman, there is life. That is what precisely he's saying. And what is the characteristics of life, Hina? What is the nature of life? It is perishable, right? No, it's perishable. One day, all of us in this classroom will cease to exist. That's a matter of fact. You can't change it. The death is inevitable because we are all perishable in nature. So when I die, in the Atman in me, will it die? The Atman in me, which is responsible for me, it will not die. That is what precisely the next verse is saying. When this body dies, the Atman doesn't die. When the bulb fuses, what has gone? The filament in the bulb has gone. Nothing wrong with electricity. The electrician will come and say, sir, there's nothing wrong with electric supply. It is the bulb that is fused. The electric supply is still there to the contact point. It's coming. Similarly, the Atman doesn't die when the body dies. So when the body dies, what happens? It is because the Prakriti has changed. The Prakriti has moved on. Prakriti is what? Vasanas. Vasanas have changed. Vasanas are nothing but desires. The desires have moved. Matter has moved. This body is dead. Another body is born. That's all is happening. So all the drama of death and birth is all because of Prakriti, is not because of the Atman, is not because of the consciousness. Later on, he's going to say in the 9th verse, consciousness has got nothing to do with it. It just happens to have a like. Has the sun got anything to do with the reflection in a broken glass? A glass piece is lying on the side and the sun is reflecting. Has the sun got anything to do with it? You take away the broken glass, will the sun worry? Oh no, my reflection is gone. It is not worried. You put a reflecting mirror, there is a reflection. So all your life is because of the Prakriti, not because of Purusha.
Yes, Guruji.
You get the point. Without example, perhaps it might be difficult, but with the example, you will be able to fit it in. So electricity is under the column of Purusha. Under the column of matter, you will put the bulb. Under the column of life or living beings, you will put light. Telling me, 35 years ago, one of the first concepts I heard was this. It was staggering. What was staggering is to hear that there is no life inherent in Atman. Atman is lifeless. And yet, Atman is the life-giving principle. Atman is lifeless, and yet Atman is the life-giving principle. Just like petrol is motionless, and yet petrol is responsible for all movement. I said, wow. You have to go and fill the petrol by yourself to put into the tank. The petrol has no movement by itself. You put in a tank, it will remain there. But when you put into your fuel tank, it has the ability to give energy, but it by itself is motionless. Fascinating concepts. But ultimately what he's establishing is Atman is responsible for giving the life because of its union with matter. And it expresses as the 5 senses and the mind, which is what is responsible for all your activity. The various actions that you're performing is because of your perceptions. You're perceiving many things in the world. And how do you perceive? Okay, all of you are perceiving, which is, if I may ask you, Sunil ji, I don't know of your background, but it should be quite easy to answer this.
Yep.
Right. You're perceiving me, right?
Yes, yes.
I suppose all of them are also perceiving,
Mm-hmm.
but what you're perceiving is the same, but the perception is different.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
True, true.
All of you are seeing me only. All
Yes.
of you are hearing the same voice, the same explanation. What you're perceiving is the same, but the perception all of you create out of it is different. What is it that's responsible for it, sir?
True.
Sorry?
I said true, true. It is.
Thank you for saying it's true. What is it that is responsible for your perception? I'm not saying right or wrong. The way you perceive it, if I were to tell each of you to give me your understanding of what was said after the class, believe me, no two of you will agree in totality. There will be your individual flavor of your understanding of what was said. That is your perception of what was said. What was said is the same thing. My question is, what is responsible for that varied perception? Because your ear and others' ears are hearing the same noise. It's not the senses, sir. Your eyes and everybody's eyes are perceiving the same person. It can't be different. What is other than the senses? I'm making it very, very easy for you. What is it? You might think of not coming back. This fellow is a very strict guru. He's pinning me down as if in the court of law. He's telling me better answer, better answer. I'm trying to guide you.
Yeah.
You're with me?
Yes, I am with you.
So, Gayatri Ma, can I have the translation, please? This is the last help, sir. Like in Kaun Banega Crorepati, they'll give options. No, I am exhausted of options, sir. Here. Now, what do you read in the translation at the end of the verse?
Matter draws the senses with mind as the sixth.
So now we are talking about what is your what you're perceiving and the perception. So the perception, obviously, what determines the perception? So I'll have to use the last option also, sir. Thanks, Gayatri Ma. Which is to answer myself. After exhausting all options, I answer myself.
Please.
Please, okay. I shall. The difference of the perception is because of the different mind. That which is interpreting the input is the different mind. So the mind which you have, the mind others have are different because of the background of your existing knowledge of your concepts. So you are filtering the stimuli or what you're perceiving with your mind. So the perception is flavored because of your conditioning of your mind. What you're perceiving is the same. What all are perceiving is the same. The perception is different. Why? It's because of the mind. The mind is coloring. I say one thing, each one of you will interpret in your own way. Why? It's your mind. You get it, sir?
Yeah.
So this is how your life is spanned out. Your life and your experiences are driven by the senses and the mind. And to extend it, the Atman, which is enlivening all this, has got nothing to do with your perception. Like the electricity in my room has got nothing to do with what it's illuminating. The same thing, what's illuminating in your place, it has got nothing to do with it, isn't it?
Sure.
Similarly, the Atman in you has got nothing to do with the clarity or the confusion. You may say, oh, sir, I am very clear. My perception is very clear. Or you may say, so my perception is a little blur. I'm confused. Atman has got nothing to do with it. It's all your own mind and its experiences. Don't worry, sir. Turibi Wango, please come back. Rest assured, it'll all fall in its place. Okay. But all he's saying is the self expresses through the individual because of vasanas as senses in the mind, which is the driving vehicle of every experience. All right.
Okay.
Ponder over. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next verse. शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति Vayurgandhani Vashayat. When the Lord obtains a body, and also when he leaves it, he takes these and goes as the wind carries the scent from their seat. Very beautiful concept, a very famous concept, but he puts it in a unique flavor in this verse. Throughout the Gita, you have such references. Throughout the Shastras, there is a reference to it, but it has to be rightly interpreted. If you don't, then you might come with a confused or a wrong understanding. So when the Lord Shariram Yata Avapnoti, the Lord Ishwaraha, the word Ishwara means the Lord. So when the Lord obtains a body and also when he leaves it. So obviously he's talking of death and birth. He takes these. He is intentionally in capital. It is not a small H. H-E capital H refers to the whatever I'll say, the Lord, what that is. When he goes, he takes these. And then he gives an example as the wind that carries the scent from their seat. So what does the word Lord mean? The Lord can be interpreted either as the Atman. The first interpretation of the Lord is the Atman. The second interpretation of the Lord is the Vasanas. Now let's take the example first. Just as the wind that carries the fragrance from the flowers to your nostrils, a beautiful fragrance comes your way. The wind has carried the fragrance from the garden as you're walking past. But you will understand and appreciate the wind has no fragrance. It is the wind that has carried the fragrance, isn't it? Similarly, Atman has no vasanas. But in the medium of the Atman, the vasanas have moved. And when it has moved, what has it taken along with it? It has taken the mind and the intellect along with it. Can somebody type it out in the chat box for me, please? Who can do it? Raise hand so nobody. Ramji, can you type it for me, sir? Ramji, type it on the chat box. The transference of the subtle and the causal body, the transference of the subtle body and causal body from one gross body to another, the transference of subtle body and causal body from one gross body to another is the death of the first, and the birth of the later. This is the definition of death or birth. Have you got it, sir? Okay, there you go. Perfect. The transference of the subtle body and the causal body from one gross body to the other is the death of the first and the birth of the later. This is the definition. This is what is happening at death or at birth. So the wind, which is the Atman, is carrying the fragrance from one place to other. That's all. Wind has no fragrance. The wind is the Atman. In the medium of the Atman, the vasanas are traveling from one place to other. And when the vasanas are traveling, they take along. What do they take along? They take along the subtle body. Jama, when you say, what about vasanas? Vasanas is the causal body, no? Another term for the vasanas is the causal. So the causal body is the vasanas. So the vasanas along with the subtle body. So what is subtle body, Ramji? Your typing job finished, sir.
Oh, acha, okay, this is open. Okay. Yes, sir. So causal body is vasanas, subtle body is mind, intellect. Yes.
Mind and intellect.
Hmm.
So when the vasanas are going, what are they taking them along with it?
Taking the mind and intellect.
Taking the mind and
The
intellect
subtle
along
body
with
is going.
subtle body is going. So when the wind moves, wind is the
Wind is the Atman.
Atman, which has no flavor.
Yeah.
So the fragrance here refers to the vasanas and the subtle body.
But just one question.
I know, sir. Sir, every time I say you ask something, you will ask back questions, and this is unfair.
No, sir. That is the fairest thing in education.
So, then I surrender, sir. Please. Adigande, please.
Because we said that when the Atman or consciousness meets vasanas, life is created. Right? But
Yes.
here we are saying that the Atman is taking the vasanas with it. So how do these two reconcile? Because that means it is in touch with vasanas, the Atman. But we said that when it touches vasanas, life is formed.
So what are you asking, sir?
No, my question is that I mean I I thought that the vasanas, the mind and intellect, they travel independent of the Atman. But because if they are in touch with the Atman, then
Sorry.
there is.
No. How did you say that? Vasanas and the subtle body travel independent of the Atman?
Yeah,
Yes, they travel independent of the Atman.
correct.
Atman does not travel.
Right.
Why? Why is it so? Atman doesn't travel in the sense Atman does not leave this dead body.
Hmm.
Why doesn't it leave the dead body and then go to a new body? Because Atman, by definition, is two definitions. It is all pervading.
Correct.
God is all pervading.
Yeah.
So there is no vacuum space of the
It
dead
need
body.
not travel actually.
It doesn't travel, it's everywhere.
Hmm.
And Atman is also said to be immortal, it is beyond death.
Correct.
So these two definitions
Yeah.
of it all pervading and immortal can be used as an argument to establish that Atman does not leave the dead body. It is very much there. Where will it go?
Correct.
So, therefore, when I said as the wind carries the fragrance, I said the wind is the medium. In the medium of the Atman, the Vasanas carry the
Are carried.
subtle body. In the medium of the Atman. It seems as if the Atman is moving, but Atman is not moving. It's the Vasanas and the subtle body that's moving.
Only they are moving. Yeah. Okay.
So, just like in the medium of water, the fish is moving.
Hmm.
The fish needs the water in its medium for it to move. But the water is not moving,
Hmm.
isn't it? Similarly, in the medium of the Atman, individuals are transferring from one embodiment to other.
Yeah, because Atman and Brahman is the same, so which is all pervading. So
Same.
in that medium, this is traveling, right? That's what we are saying. Yeah, that makes sense. But then it will have
It's
to.
like saying Atman is backing the Vasanas.
Hmm.
See, Atman is backing the Vasanas, and it seems as though the Atman is traveling along with the Vasanas. That's the confusion.
Hmm.
It seems as if the Atman is traveling along with the Vasanas, but Atman is not traveling. It is Atman is backing the transference to happen.
Because the popular perception, again, going back to your question on perception. Popular perception is that the Atman leaves one body and goes into another body. This is the popular perception. So that's how
There's a fallacy in that, right?
pictorially people show a light going and then merging into the God or Sun or whatever it is. And so it is, Atman doesn't move anywhere because it is there everywhere. So that is the fundamental point which we have to understand.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So Atman is the Lord. Atman is not leaving the body. But the verse says when the Lord acquires the body, it's only in the medium there is a transference happening. It's like I have a witness. In the presence of a witness, there is a transaction happening. The witness is only a proof of the transaction. I have sold it and you have bought it. Sale deed happening. Transference of assets are happening in the presence of a third party. Third party has got nothing to do with either the seller or the buyer. The moment the seller has sold it, it doesn't have it. The new person has got it. But the witness is just it is a proof that yes, it's happened. It's just a borrowed example, please. So Atman, in its medium, everything is happening. Atman has got nothing to do. So a person, we often say this, a person dies when his vasanas are exhausted. When the vasanas for which you're born with, we are all born with a certain bundle of desires. Vasanas means desires. When those vasanas or desires are exhausted, you die. So it's all a play of Prakriti. It's all a play of vasanas. Right. Okay, Ramji. Yes, Sureshi.
Because the Atman is the energizing or the enlivening principle, would it be right to say that the transference of the causal body and the subtle body from one gross body to another in the medium of the Atman is also aided in a way by the Atman?
What do you mean aided?
Aided in the sense, you see, whatever it may be, there is a transfer. There is a transference of the subtle body and the causal body from one gross body to another. Now, everything which happens in Prakriti needs an energizing or an enlivening principle. For example, now this organ of action, speech. Now, the speech is happening because the Atman, the energizing principle, is enabling that speech. Similarly, even the transference in the medium of the Atman is also aided by the Atman.
Perfect. Aided is nothing but facilitating. It happens in its presence, that's all. I think we lost you. Sir, you will have to be muted. Unmute yourself, sir.
Whatever I spoke now was in mute, is it?
No, we heard you most of it at the last section. I think we lost you, but I agreed to when you clarified aided. I did say that yes, it is just facilitating. Means
Facilitate, that's all.
in its presence, it's happening. Like in the presence of the judge.
You see, that way everything is happening in the medium of the Atman. The organs of perception, the organs of action, our listening, everything. But at the same time, it is aided by Atman. Therefore, it's a kind of, it is the energizing principle which gives expression to so many things. Therefore, even the transference is what I feel.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, having said this, as I said, the next verse, the 9th verse, gives a much clearer picture, which we understand. Atman is responsible for everything.
Yeah.
But it remains an absolute witness or a sakshi to everything. Atman has no role in what you perceive, how you perceive, what you entertain, what you feel, what you act. Atman has got nothing to do with it. It is just that facilitator. So don't blame God if things are not going your way. God has got nothing to do with the tragedy or the comedy in your life. If you're going to a tragedy, it's all your own making. You have made some wrong decisions, you face consequences. Your karma phala. It's your actions and its fruits. Atman has got nothing to do with your actions or the fruits of your actions. It just facilitates, it just enables. It's up to you what kind of action you perpetrate. Why do you blame God for the atrocities I have done? I can't blame God for that. Don't blame God. Or not thank God. Oh God, because of you, I'm able to do some good thing. Atman says, I did not do anything. I was just remaining neutral in everything that you did. You take the onus of your actions. Don't get me into the picture. That is what Atman says. Okay, sir. Thank you. So, if you take the Lord as Atman, there may be apparent confusion, but the Lord is only the medium. The second interpretation is it becomes very easy when you take the Lord as the vasanas. So if you take the vasanas, when the vasanas acquire a new gross body, What does it take along with it? Obviously, it takes the subtle body, which is the mind and intellect. So go back to the if you're confused, go back to the definition. It's a transference of subtle and causal from one body to other. That's all. If Atman can never die, why is death experienced as real? Why are we feeling their absence and we become highly emotional? I felt very sad when I lost my parents. Okay, Atman never dies. You don't experience death. When you die, you don't know what that experience is. You're talking of others' experience, obviously. Why are we feeling their absence is because you're not attached to the Atman, you're attached to the embodiment. If you are ever attached to the Atman, you will not celebrate birth nor mourn death because you know the real Atman is immortal. All the grief is because you're attached to the mortal beings. You're not attached to the immortal self. So the whole subject matter is to shift your focus from the mortal beings to the immortal self. That Atman doesn't die. Why are you mourning? Even when a person dies, the Atman did not die in them. So identify with the Atman, not with the beings. Okay. So from the seventh verse, he spoke about a portion of that cosmic consciousness identifies with Prakriti, becomes a living being. And then here he says, when that leaves, it takes that what is responsible for its creation, which is Prakriti, which is the vasanas. Okay. There's a question here. Atman is your true self? Yes, it is your true self. I don't know, you're asking a question or is it a statement? Yes, it is your true self. Sudhakarji is asking, Jivatma and Atman are the same? No, sir. Jivatma is the individual. Jiva means the individual. Atman is the self. So what dies is the Jiva, the individual dies. The Atman doesn't die. So when I die, when I perish, this individuality, this embodiment which I am today, when this perishes, the Atman in me did not perish. So when I die, the Atman does not die, it remains. What has moved away? The vasanas which have created this embodiment. I am born because of certain vasanas. They have moved on. They, in a sense, the larger vasanas. They have moved on. The vasanas with which I am born, they are exhausted, but there are so many more vasanas, no? So they move. Unfulfilled vasanas, let's put it this way, the unfulfilled vasanas, they have left this body. Those which are vasanas are fulfilled, they will get burnt out here. But just to make it simple, you say vasanas have left. The more you probe, the deeper I go, you might get lost. But to be fair to your question, Jivatma and Atman are not the same. Okay. Any more clarifications? Venkatamji, all good?
I'm taking it from a mobile. I had some problem with the internet. Yeah.
But all good? You're following the concept, sir?
Yeah, it is slightly complex though. I'm trying to, because there are still some thoughts which are there. But I will just wait for the other verses if that can make it clear. Basically, the body and, Atman living the body.
So no guarantee what next verse is going to give you. It might complicate the matter. Please clarify now.
No, again, you know what? Ramji was also saying that we all have learnt it this way only, that the soul will leave. It is like changing the old clothes. Then it goes and, puts on the new clothes. But what now we are discussing here is slightly different from what we have at least been told. So trying
Why?
to...
Hello. Why? How do we say it is different from what has been told?
No, in the sense we are saying that, Atman stays and then he is only facilitating while mind, intellect, and the vasanas actually leave. So that confusion.
No, that is how we have maintained right throughout, right?
No, I'm just talking from the general thing what we keep writing. That the soul leaves the body.
Correct.
And the body is physical, and then, one should not grieve because it is like changing old clothes and wearing some new clothes and things like that. But also, of course, the other question is where does it go has always been a question, but that we will reserve it.
No, I don't know whether you're asking me or you're going to reserve it for another time. Please be clear.
No, I'm asking you, but I don't know whether we will get an answer in this class.
No, please, can you make up your mind whether you're asking or not asking? I don't know either answer or not. This is my problem.
Okay, but that is my question then. Where does it go is a question. I just don't know where it goes.
What it are you talking of the Atman or the Vasanas?
Again, so that is why you are complicated. So we normally say that the soul goes and goes to a different body.
That we have clarified, sir, that the general misconception that Atman or the soul leaves is wrong. There's a fallacy. Because the two definitions of the Atman, did you take a note of that, the 2 points?
Yes.
What are the 2 points you took note, sir?
Atman is lifeless, but is life-giving, like Lord Atman.
No, you're going too back. When I answered Ramji, I said there are 2 aspects or definitions of Atman which establishes the immortal nature of the Atman. What are the 2 definitions? One, we said Atman is all pervading.
Yes.
And the second is?
Atman is all pervading and Atman facilitates and does not have anything to do.
Atman is immortal. So therefore, Atman would not have left this body because there is no question of it to die.
Okay.
So you have to logically come to an understanding that Atman cannot leave the body. Okay, sir?
Okay, got it.
Atman has not left the body. So therefore, what has left the body is the vasanas. Now, please understand. Now the question is, where have the vasanas gone? Is it?
Yes, that also will be a follow-up question.
Sir, obviously the vasanas which is responsible for Dr. Venkatram. Doctor, you became later, but Venkatram was earlier, no? So what vasanas which is responsible for your individuality to be born?
Okay.
Said that those vasanas are the vasanas which you are born with are known as prarabdha vasanas.
Okay.
Time and again, we mentioned this concept. When we are born, there are certain bundle of vasanas. For discussion's sake, take them as 100 vasanas.
Okay.
Your longevity of life is predetermined because of those 100 vasanas.
Okay.
Nobody knows what those vasanas are. Nobody can determine your longevity of life. But what we have said is this bundle of vasanas, when they are exhausted, this individuality will die.
Yes, you just told. Yes.
So it is the death is determined by the end of the prarabdha vasanas. Now, there are another bundle of vasanas which need manifestation.
Okay. Okay, Guruji.
There are total vasanas. You must understand that as Sanchita, the total vasanas. From them, sir, let's say there is a total account of 1,000 vasanas you have.
Okay.
100 vasanas are very powerful. They manifested as this embodiment. But balance is how much? 900 vasanas.
Yeah.
So of the 900, let's say another bundle of 200 vasanas need manifestation.
Okay.
So where you would go after this 100 are exhausted will determine on the 200 vasanas which are driving you.
Okay.
So that is anybody's guess. Nobody knows where you would go. It is because it depends on what are the next vasanas which requires expression. You would go there.
Okay, Guruji. Got it.
So all you must understand is a play of vasanas. It is rather difficult to, it's impossible, not even difficult, it's impossible to know for certain where would I go or where would one go after death.
Okay.
So there is no knowledge that will give any clarity as to where would you go. It just depends on the next vasana. Sir, simple example, what brought you to this classroom at 11:30?
To learn something about.
This vasana or desire for philosophy has brought you to this class, right?
Absolutely.
At 11:45, so 12:45, we conclude. Where would you go next?
By 1:30 lunch.
I don't want to know where would you go. I'm only asking where would you go?
No, where would you go in the sense physically?
Obviously, where would you go next? Ushama, it's okay, Ushama, don't worry. She's not able to contain her laughter. Sir, where would you go? What determines where would you go? It's only your next vasana would go. It determines, isn't it?
Yeah.
After that, what would you do?
Again, the next vasana will determine.
Next vasana. After that, what would you do? Your whole day of events, has it not been determined by the vasanas?
Yes.
So the death of the first vasana has given birth to the birth of the next second vasana. The death of the second vasana has given birth to the third vasana. The death of the third vasana has given to the birth of fourth vasana. The first vasana was you are a philosopher. The second vasana, you are, let's say you have an official lunch meeting. You go for lunch meeting. Finish that, you have to take your wife Karunama for shopping. Then evening you say, I want to go and work out in the gym. So the first experience, you are in a philosophical classroom. Second, you're having a lunch meeting in a different, your official environment. Third is you are in a shopping, in a mall, facilitating some shopping. Fourth is you're working out in a gym. Each world is determined by what? Is the vasana that is responsible for it, isn't it? And when would you leave that environment?
When that is fulfilled.
When that vasana is served, also you can say the next vasana cannot be satisfied in that same environment.
Okay, got it.
I have this vasana, but the next vasana cannot be fulfilled here. Therefore, you move on to the next environment. Similarly, this embodiment of Venkatram has a limitation of what can be satisfied here. There are certain vasanas which cannot be satisfied in this embodiment. Therefore, you will die. Sorry to say so. One would die, and you will take on another embodiment. What? To fulfill those vasanas. This is entirely the play of Prakriti. It's all a play of vasanas. Is entirely in your hands. What you do with them.
Thank you, Guruji. Got it.
Right, sir. Most welcome. If you had hope of the next verse has not come. You will have to wait one more week. If you all have patience for another 5-10 minutes, I will go into the next verse. Otherwise, I will come back next week. What do you all say? Only one person is raising thumb. Now 2, 3. Okay. Rest of you have no choice but to listen. Very good. 9th verse. Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam ghranameva cha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha Rasanam ghranam cha adhishthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate, presiding over the ear, eye, skin, tongue, and nose, and also the mind. This being enjoys the objects of the senses. You thought it was very easy verse, huh? Now, okay. The concept, what I wanted to tell you, oops, not this one. Now, the Atman is that which enables your body, mind, and intellect. So the body, mind, and intellect is the jiva, the individual. So what does the body do? Body has the organs of perception. When it operates through the organs of perception, you become the perceiver. When the body operates through the organs of action, you become the actor. When the self operates through the mind, you entertain various feelings, you become the feeler. Through the gross intellect, you become the thinker. Through the subtle intellect, you become the contemplator. So the organs of perception, which are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The organs of action, which is speech, hands, feet, generative organ, etc. The mind, which is feelings. The intellect, which is either gross or subtle. All of them are operating because of the Atman. All right. Now at the bottom I've written, without the Atman, one cannot perceive, act, feel, think, or conceive, or contemplate rather. Without the Atman, you cannot perceive, you cannot act, you cannot feel, you cannot think, you cannot conceive. Yet, Atman, okay, there's a repetition of the word doesn't. Atman doesn't perceive, act, feel, or think. Without the Atman, you cannot perceive. Without the Atman, you cannot act. Without Atman, you cannot feel, you cannot think or contemplate. Yet, Atman doesn't perceive, Atman doesn't act, Atman does not feel, Atman does not think, Atman does not contemplate. And also, Atman has nothing to do with the perceptions, actions, and feelings and your thoughts. So 3 points I'm making at the end. First point, without Atman, you cannot perceive, act, feel, think, contemplate. Second point, Atman does not feel, Atman does not act, Atman does not think, Atman does not contemplate. The third point, Atman has got nothing to do with your perceptions, actions, feelings, and thoughts. The 3 essential points which is being made in the verse is being explained through this chart. Yes, like electricity and petrol. So the neutrality of the Atman, the enlivening nature of the Atman, and the unconcerned nature of Atman is brought out here. Like the sun enlivens the world, the sun has got nothing to do with the world, whatever it's enlivening. It just enlivens. Because of the sun, everything's happening, but sun has got nothing to do with what's happening here. Now, if you read the verse, he says, presiding over the senses and the mind, this being enjoys the objects of the senses. It is the jiva that is experiencing and enjoying the sense objects. Atman is neutral, don't mistake it. When I eat an Alfonso mango, who is enjoying the Alfonso mango, Harish? Please give me the right answer. Otherwise, 1.5 hours will be gone down the drain.
Well, Guruji, the jiva is enjoying the mango yourself, Guruji.
Yeah. I owe you an Alfonso mango for the right answer. So who enjoys the mango is the senses, it is the individual jiva. Atman has got nothing to do with your perception and what it perceives. Yet the taste of the mango, the perception of the mango is perceived because the Atman is enlivening that sense organ. But has Atman tasted the Alfonso taste? Atman has got no interest to, you go on Atman, the mangoes have come, would you want to eat? What will Atman say? Harish? What will Atman say?
No, it belongs to the jiva.
You are in full form. So one more Alfonso I owe you. For that you must come from Hong Kong to India, then I'll give you. Or Alfonso, you don't get Alfonsos in Hong Kong.
I shall, Guruji.
Yes, sir. Look forward. So Atman is responsible for the senses to perceive, but Atman doesn't perceive. Atman has no interest in the perceptions. That's all he's saying. So who is enjoying the senses and the mind? It is the jiva who experiences and enjoys. It is just presiding over, means which enables the eyes to see. It presides over it, it lords over it, it commands over it, it gives life to it. It has no interest in it. It is a presiding deity. That's about all. That's why they call the Atman as a presiding deity. It's a simple, seemingly very innocuous statement, but a very profound concept is being conveyed here. The true nature of Atman comes out. It is responsible for it. It doesn't experience it. It is not interested in it. Power pack statement. Power pack. Seriously, power pack. Like we said, lastly, I give an example. Like petrol, there is no movement that is possible without petrol. All movement happens because of petrol. The performance that you get is not because of petrol, but because of the engine. In a 1000cc car, you'll have a 1000cc performance. In a 3000cc car, you have 3000cc performance. In a sports car, in a Formula 1 car, there's a Formula 1 performance. Petrol is more or less the same in all the three vehicles, but the performance is different, not because of petrol, it's because of the prakriti, the engine. Thirdly, one car reaches a destination safely, another car has an accident, and you end up in fatality. Petrol has got nothing to do with you reaching home safely or you having an accident. Petrol, it says, I've got nothing to do with accident or safe driving. I just enliven it. So with it, everything moves. Remember the famous definition we give, one of the best descriptions of God. With it, everything happens. Without it, nothing happens. Yet, it has got nothing to do with the happening. Fantastic definition. Sage Vidyaranya talks of it. He talks of a lamp on a stage. The great Vidyaranya, he talks of Atman as a lamp on a stage. With the lamp lighting the stage, there is a theatrical performance happening. With the light, there's a theatrical performance happening. The light is no more light, power failure, light is switched off, there's no more performance. With it, everything is happening. Without it, nothing happening. The light has got nothing to do with happening. That is the role of Atman in you. So therefore, it is all a play of Prakriti, your own vasanas. So those of you who have been from the beginning of the chapter, the first 6 verses, he spoke of the Ashwatha tree, talks of the macrocosm, and from the macrocosm, he's descended to the microcosm. And another couple of more verses, he talks of it, and then he goes on to the next part of the text, which is, it talks of the imperishable. All the micro and the macro are perishable. Then he talks of imperishable, and thereafter he talks of the Uttama Purusha. Remember the Trinity, perishable Kshara, Akshara, Uttama Purusha. That is the beauty of this text. And we will come back when we continue the next satsang. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.